Welcome on into NASCAR Mailbox, returning from the off week and a move into a different apartment, folks. Let's get right into the questions after Nashville Superspeedway. This first one comes from our own Dalton Hopkins.
Jared Bear, Big Haas. It's Dalton Hopkins. I've got a question for you for this week's NASCAR Mailbox. Last week in the Nashville Superspeedway, we saw Ryan Blaney hit that concrete wall pretty hard. And afterwards, he climbed out, and he was pretty winded. So, with all of this talk about the next-gen car safety and concussions, it seems like having concrete walls is a little counterintuitive. So, my question for you is, why do we have them? And how can we get rid of them?
Concrete walls, yes, the big topic after Ryan Blaney's hard wreck. It was more an anomaly of how hard that Blaney hit, considering the fact that it was an inside wall that not a lot of people usually hit unless it's like a Michigan, for example. NASCAR has been improving the process of safer barriers ever since Dale Earnhardt's death. Started with the corners, installing the safer barriers, then on the straightaways, and then, some of the backstretch inside wall. But usually you're not seeing a hard inside crash in the inside wall. It's usually into the outside wall, especially in the corners. But again, racing proves anomalies where Ryan Blaney, a car, anytime can race, can hit a wall hard like that, and especially that concrete wall. That one is that should be replaced. That should have safer barrier there. But now, that brings up a very interesting point. Pit road, obviously, still going to be that concrete wall. You're going to have crews. You can't really have crews jump over a safer barrier. But this poses an interesting question with Chicago Street Course this weekend. Those are concrete walls. There's no safer barriers there because it's a temporary track. So for the name of the game of safety, if we want to do these temporary tracks, if we want safer barriers, it's going to take a little bit longer. And I don't know if the Chicago would have the patience even to wait for safer barriers to be installed as well. So I don't think we're going to be absolutely eliminating concrete walls. There still need work to be done, especially at Nashville Superspeedway in the inside of turn 1 and 2. I think more on the end of turn 3 and 4. But again, cars will find a place to hit at the absolute worst place. And this next question comes from Alex B53. They ask, what did Ross and his team learn from this win? And what do they know that they can take advantage of from out racing really good cars? Well, I want to start with at least the team, what they've learned, that Justin Marks. Nashville is his home. That's where he's stayed now, and that's where he wanted Trackhouse's main shop to be before acquiring Chip Ganassi Racing. So I think this team proved that, hey, guess what? We're a contender right in the backyard. And Justin Marks said in his post-race presser that he has in the works Nashville-based companies to work with Trackhouse Racing. And that is a big statement win for Trackhouse to expand upon their brand and continuing growing on that, having those backyard sponsors right in front of them to say, hey, we can win here at Nashville, get on a winning race car. It raises Trackhouse's racing stock, and I think for Chastain, it's learning to win without the controversy. Ross Chastain has been in the headlines for the past year and a half, basically. The aggressive racing, you've seen it, at Darlington, you saw it at Kansas. You've seen it you could even say Phoenix last year. You saw it with Denny Hamlin. You saw a lot of moments where Ross Chastain, who races hard, was, I don't want to say racing too hard. He needs that mentality. That's how he's kind of proven himself. He's been a journeyman type of driver, but putting in those positions where he's getting a lot of people angry. And this win proved that Ross Chastain, yes, indeed, can go out and win a pretty clean race, keep up pace with Martin Truex Jr., and keep him behind him and say, hey, guess what? Ross Chastain, I deserve to be in victory lane. Those wins at Circuit of America, that wasn't a fluke that I just moved him out of the way. Hey, that win at Talladega, I was in position to win. It wasn't a fluke that, the C's part and I was able to win. Ross Chastain is here to stay. And I think what they can take advantage of this situation is more the confidence of this. Because you saw it basically in May what the headlines were. Ross Chastain. Rick Hendrick not happy with him. Noah Gragson fights him. I think this is a good step forward for Ross Chastain. You know, saying that, hey, I am a contender. You're going to have to go through me in order to win the championship. And that will do it for this week's NASCAR Mailbox. Tune in next week when I answer your questions from the streets of Chicago. Until then, make sure to subscribe to the Frontstretch YouTube channel. And as always, make sure to have a great race weekend.
This is Parker Chase. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out some of our other videos over here on the right. And be sure to visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.